All right, welcome to lesson 3 of getting started on the bagpipes, where I take people from knowing absolutely nothing about bagpipes to knowing a little bit about bagpipes, at least enough to be able to play a tune or two. All right. Now you can watch all these lessons on YouTube, just like you are right now, or you can go to highlandbagpipe.com and get the free course there. Which is a little bit better than YouTube because it allows you to use interactive sheet music, and this course is just kind of laid out a little bit nicer. All right, it's a little bit more of an enjoyable experience. But if you prefer YouTube, absolutely just keep watching the videos on here. Okay. In this lesson, we are going to talk about how you properly hold and blow a practice chanter. All right, we're going to talk about the different parts of your fingers you need to use, what angle you should hold the chanter at, and the different way you should sort of blow into the chanter, how hard, how soft. Okay, so to get started, let's get a close-up of my fingers so you can see exactly how I'm holding the practice chanter. So first things first, which hand do you want on the top of the chanter, which hand do you want on the bottom? Okay, you want to put your left hand at the top and your right hand at the bottom. There are pipers who play the opposite way, all right? They play this way, but 99% of pipers play this way, so I really suggest you try to play that way. Even if you're left-handed, I would recommend trying to play this way, okay? So the first hole we're going to cover is the back hole, okay? And we're going to cover that with our left thumb, all right? And we're going to use the first pad of the thumb kind of in the middle, all right? And you're going to cover the hole just like this, all right? The next finger or hole you're going to cover with the left hand is the top hole, all right? And you're going to use the, there goes the chanter. You're going to use the first pad of that finger, okay? So thumb, first pad, top hole, first pad, second hole, again, the first pad, all right? You're going to use the middle finger. You're going to use the top pad. You want it right in the middle of the first pad, all right? In the meaty part of your finger, all right? And then it's going to be the same for the next hole, all right? You're going to use this finger, and you're going to use the first pad in the meaty part, all right? So your top hand, first pad of your thumb, like this, in the meaty part, first pad of your finger right here, first pad of this finger, and first pad of this finger, okay? And as you can see, your hand is at a bit of an angle, sort of like this, okay? Not because it's impossible to it would be very uncomfortable to try to keep them completely straight like that. It's at a bit of an angle like this, all right? And a lot of people will say, you know, you need to keep your fingers completely straight. They need to be straight, but not like so they're as straight as a board, all right? They just need to be mostly straight, like a natural kind of straightness. Like if you were to put your hand at the side like this, you lift up your hand and you look at it, all right? That straightness right there, that's what you want your hand to be like, okay? You want it to be nice and comfortable. All right, do not use the tips of your fingers like this, all right? Do not do that. You will have a lot of problems if you try to do that. So again, fairly straight fingers. Use the first pad of all of these different fingers, okay? And that's for your top hand, which should be your left hand. Moving down to the bottom hand, which is your right hand, you're going to use, to cover that next hole, you're going to use the second pad, okay, of this finger, like this. Okay, so it's not the first pad, it is the second pad. All right, and then the next hole, you're going to use the second pad of your middle finger like this. Okay, and then the next hole, you're going to use the second pad of that finger like that. Okay, so all three of these fingers, it's the second pad, and I want you to use the middle of the pad, all right, the nice meaty part of your finger. Now the bottom hole, you're going to use your pinky. Okay, and you're going to use the first pad of your pinky, all right? Not the second pad like the other fingers. You're going to use the first pad of your pinky, all right? So again, you can see the top hand is sort of at an angle like this, and the bottom hand is sort of at an angle like this. All right, and again, your fingers should be straight, but not straight as a board necessarily, just mostly straight. You really want your hands to be comfortable, all right? You don't want them to stiffen up and hurt when you're practicing. Now, when you first start playing, your hands will hurt a little bit because you're using muscles you don't normally use, but don't try to over straighten your fingers, all right? Keep them mostly straight, but not super straight. And avoid at all costs using the tips of your fingers. You'll never be able to cover all the holes, all right? So do not do this, all right? You want your fingers mostly straight, and you want to use the correct pad for your finger. You might have to watch this video a couple times to make sure that you're holding the chanter properly, all right? If you're holding it properly and you have all your fingers down, it should sound like this. If you're not holding it properly, you might sound something like this. All right, and that just simply means you're not covering all the holes. Now, this takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of trial and error and just, messing around with it to get all your fingers sort of covered, all right? If you get a sound like, all right, a wrong sound, just sort of move your fingers a bit and try again, okay? All right, let's move on. Okay, so now we've seen how to hold the practice chanter, right? All the different parts of your fingers and pads and stuff you need to use. The next thing we're going to talk about is the correct angle to hold your practice chanter. Now, you don't want to hold it like this, okay? You don't want to go, all right, it's super uncomfortable. You don't want to hold it out in front of you like this. All right, you want it on a 45-degree angle or so, all right? So make sure when you're practicing, you're in a nice, comfortable chair with a table at the proper height. So your practice chanter is just kind of on a 45-degree angle or so. All right, you want it sort of like that. All right, again, if it's like this, it's going to be really uncomfortable. If you're holding it, it's going to be uncomfortable if it's out like that too. Just a nice sort of 45-degree angle or so, just so it's nice and comfortable. All right. Another thing we need to make sure we're doing is blowing into the chanter properly. Okay. If you blow too hard into a practice chanter, all right, it sounds like that. It shuts on and off. And makes a really weird, bad sound. All right. If you blow not hard enough, if you blow too softly, it sounds like this. All right, it just sounds really kind of muffled and just not good. All right, so you want to just sort of somewhere in the middle, all right? You have to use a bit of trial and error to figure it out, but all right, just somewhere sort of nice in the middle. Not too hard. All right, like that, or too soft. All right, somewhere in the middle, okay? Again, just use trial and error, and you'll sort of figure it out. Another thing, if the chanter keeps shutting off, it's either you're blowing too hard into the chanter, or it could be that your reed it has too much moisture in it, all right? And if that happens, you just take the chanter out, take the reed out, hold the reed like this, and go, all right, and blow the moisture out of the reed, all right? That should help. Another thing that helps is in between practice sessions, if you take the top off the chanter, that will sometimes help as well, all right? So don't blow too hard, don't blow too soft. Another thing is you want the mouthpiece to be right in the middle of your mouth. You don't want it off to the side. All right, right in the middle. Just like that, okay? Another thing is you don't want to put the mouthpiece in too far so you're like gagging. Or you don't want it just on the tip of your lips either. It makes it hard to play. You want it, I don't know what that is, maybe 1/4 of an inch into your mouth. You don't want to clench your teeth on it either. You really just you're basically clenching your lips on it. All right, so don't clench your teeth on it. Don't shove it too far in. Don't leave it too far out. Again, just about 1/4 of an inch in your mouth, and you want your lips kind of pushing down on it. The other thing is don't puff your cheeks out. Don't go. All right, you want your cheeks to be nice and tight. All right, now all these things I'm telling you, like don't play with it at the side of your mouth, and don't puff your cheeks out and things like that, are things that translate when you actually have to play a full set of pipes as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to build good habits when you're first starting, so when you actually do play the real big bagpipes, it's an easier transition for you. All right, so keep your cheeks tight, chanter in the middle of the mouth, 45-degree angle, and remember all the things I showed you about the different pads of your fingers and which finger covers which hole. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this video, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, maybe share the video as well. All that stuff goes a long way to help support me and my YouTube channel. Also, it'd be great if you could check out highlandbagpipe.com, the Highland Bagpipe Academy. I got tons of great stuff on there. I also have a Patreon where you can donate $1, as little as $1 a month. And with that, you get access to all these videos early and some free tune books and all sorts of great stuff. Okay? All right. Thanks, everybody.